Maths Expo Desk, a subsidiary of Science Lecture Theatre, present a video playlist on mathematics titled On Your Own by Professor E.O. Efang. Problem number 2. Find limit 1 minus cos x over x squared as x tends to 0 if it exists. You need help? Then click on subscription to watch the video for the solution. Solution. This problem can be approached in two different ways. The first method is as follows. Limit 1 minus cos x over x squared as x tends to 0 can be expressed as limit 1 minus cos x over x squared times 1 plus cos x over 1 plus cos x as x tends to 0. Multiplying out the numerator, we have limit 1 minus cos squared x all over x squared into 1 plus cos x as x tends to 0. But recall that 1 minus cos squared x is sin squared x. So this will give us limit sin squared x all over x squared into 1 plus cos x as x tends to 0. Now, by the product law of limit, we have limit sin squared x over x squared as x tends to 0 times limit 1 all over 1 plus cos x as x tends to 0. Limit of 1 all over 1 plus cos x as x tends to 0 is half, since cos 0 is equal to 1. So this will then give us half times limit sin x all over x all squared as x tends to 0. Again, by the product law of limit, we have half times limit sin x over x as x tends to 0 times limit sin x over x as x tends to 0. But it has been shown that limit of sin x over x as x tends to 0 is 1. So therefore, half times 1 is equal to half. We have shown that limit 1 minus cos x over x squared as x tends to 0 is equal to half. Alternatively, we can approach the problem as follows. We shall say in due course that Maclaurin series expansion of cos x is given by this. Cos x is equal to 1 minus x squared over 2 plus x to the power 4 over 24 minus terms in higher powers of x. Now, 1 minus cos x is equal to x squared over 2 minus x to the power 4 over 24 plus terms in higher powers of x. Let us now divide both sides of this equation by x squared to obtain 1 minus cos x over x squared is equal to x squared will cancel x squared to give us half minus x squared will cancel x to the power 4 to give us x squared all over 24 plus terms in higher powers of x. Now, taking limit of both sides as x tends to 0, we have limit 1 minus cos x all over x squared as x tends to 0 is equal to limit into half minus x squared over 24 plus terms in higher powers of x as x tends to 0. As x tends to 0, terms containing x starting from this point to the right will vanish, leaving us with only half. So therefore, limit of 1 minus cos x over x squared as x tends to 0 is equal to half, which is the same as the result obtained by the first method. The end. Thank you for watching, and keep on watching.